Thanks for checking out the Abnormal Japan podcast. We're based in Tokyo, Japan from Houston, Texas. If you're curious what it's like living here, or you just want to tap in for abnormal topics from time to time, stay tuned and follow us on your favorite listening platform. Hey everyone, I'm your host Bree. Last episode we talked about being a creative and overcoming imposter syndrome. So check that out if you missed it. And if this is your first time listening to our podcast, welcome. We cover various topics such as travel, life in Japan, true crime, LGBT+, and more. So stick around if you enjoyed those topics. And as always, I'm here with my co-host.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I am the gyoza and beer to your ramen. What's up?
That's a good pair.
But yeah, no, it's almost Valentine's Day and ramen's on my mind because apparently there's some interesting ramens out there. You know, a little sneak peek for what's coming on in the episode. But yeah.
Also, happy Black History Month. To me, we celebrate all year long, but I understand that February is that month that people are most aware of it.
She's that month.
Yeah, if we have time this month, we will cover some Black history in Japan in another episode. I've had some topics in mind. You know, because there is Black history in Japan, so...
Ooh, I'm excited to learn. Let's go.
Yes. Today's topic will be about romance norms, Amatonormativity, and our reactions. And at the end, we're going to close it off with 2020 Valentine food trends in Japan.
Ooh.
But before we jump into that, let's answer a listener's question. All right, so this is a segment where we answer one of your questions anonymously. And today's question is, what's your favorite Japanese dessert? There's actually a lot, so which one do you like?
Of all of them, I'm not a sweet person, so it's kind of hard for me to pick. I would say, and I don't know if this counts as a dessert, the Japanese Black Thunder, Chocolate Thunder little candy bar.
Oh, okay,
you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's like... It's so good. It's hard to explain. It's super cheap and it comes in a whole bunch of different flavors and it's just really good. It even came in a McFlurry one time.
Yeah, it tastes like Oreos, like aerated
a little bit.
Oreos. Yeah, it's very crunchy chocolate candy. I like it too.
And for the love season, they did one with strawberry in it with little bite-sized ones.
Yes, that's
so
pretty good. All right, so I like taiyaki, which is like the fish-shaped pancakes, which have like red bean filling in it. So good.
Yeah, those are good.
And sometimes it's like black red bean paste. I don't know if that's what it's called. It's really good, and they sell it during like festivals, and you can buy as like kind of like street food dessert.
Yeah, and they're super warm. Oof.
Yeah, and I also like grilled dango. So it's like mochi, so like rice dessert. It's like a rice cake.
It's like a rice ball type of thing, but not like a rice ball.
Yeah. It's really good. And it's super chewy, and it can come in different flavors. I like black sesame.
Ooh.
So good. And also there's like an emoji after it, like the one that has like a green ball, white ball, and a pink ball.
Oh, those are dango?
Those are dango.
I did not know that.
Yeah, those are sold normally around springtime. But yeah, there's so many different types. So those would be my favorite Japanese desserts.
We had both of those when we hit Mount Takao one time. That was, those were like super fresh, super special. Man.
I love the fresh ones because sometimes they sell it in like a sweet syrup in the store. But like it's not the same. If you have a chance, get it fresh off the fire.
Yeah, and they roast it too, so it's got that. Oh, anyway. So all that being said, these are wonderful desserts. Now, if you're a picky eater like me, you know, I picked a chocolate bar. Bree's over here trying all these nice Japanese things.
I mean, that was the question.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm picky, right? So I wrote a whole blog, 8 things, top 8 foods if you want to come to Japan and you're a picky eater. Go check it out. That's on the website. And yeah, I put a lot of work into it. I hope y'all enjoy it. These are my top 8 recommendations if you like me. If you got a, picky taste buds.
Yeah. I feel like I'm not as picky, but it is helpful because like sometimes you just don't like what's out there. But yeah, that's on abnormaljapan.com. And if you want to send in a question, if you want your question to be featured in a future episode, check the link in the description and it'll be at abnormaljapan.com/questions. Pretty
Yeah.
simple. All right, let's get into the topic. Okay, so many of us have heard about how to date, what's romantic, and what's attractive. And lately, there are many people resisting typical romantic norms for healthier, more intimate relationships, right? So, we're going to react to some articles that claim their norms create fulfilling relationships or that certain romance norms are unhealthy.
Okay.
All right. And we've been together for 9 years, married for 2, and we're definitely not heteronormative.
Yeah.
So don't expect basic responses. Feel free to share your opinions as well. And maybe we should start a Discord chat so that we can talk with each other. Because I know sometimes it's hard to share your thoughts in the comments. But yeah, let us know if that's what you want.
Yeah, Discord sounds fun. I'm down. Yeah, I would love to hear what y'all think about, the topics that we cover. Because I feel like we got good engagement, but I want to hear like live stuff, Y'all can react live while y'all listen to the episode. So that'd be pretty fun.
So yeah, we found 3 articles that had different point of views on relationships and romance. So let's jump into them.
Okay.
All right, so this article is called 13 Tips to Make a Good Relationship Great.
Oh, so you're starting on a good basis and trying to make it great. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it starts off by saying that this is a proactive approach to creating your best relationship. And this is like a relationship regimen below. So let's see. I don't know. It seems a little pushy.
I wish y'all could see my face. The way you said relationship regimen, I was like, huh?
Yeah. Weird. All right, but it's okay. It's okay. Let's just.
All right, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. Yes. Benefit of the doubt.
Number 1, do the things you did the first year you were dating. So this person mentions, like, don't get lazy, don't get in the habit of wearing sweatpants and, be thoughtful and understanding in your efforts. And just think back to the first year of your relationship and write down all the things you used to do for your partner. Now start doing them again. I don't know about this one because I think, I don't know, that first year is very special. And I feel like trying to recreate it, you're just going to be disappointed.
Yeah, totally. Like if you're trying to do things like, okay, so we've been together 9 years, like you said, right? We were babies.
Well, not like actually babies, but we were really young. And I don't want to reenact that first year.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have the energy to do the same shit we did.
Oh, no, we were wild. We were wild, y'all. But I mean, hey,
man.
if you see some aspects of the first year that maybe you wish you did again, talk to your partner and just be like, hey, can we try this again?
Yeah, I don't know about recreating them.
The whole year, that's kind of weird.
weird.
And also, like, as you get into dating, you're going to get more comfortable with each other. So just because your partner is wearing more lax clothing, if anything, that shows that they feel comfortable with you. Of course, if like that bleeds into like when you're going out and stuff, and if that's not something you like, just talk about it,
Yeah, I feel like within the confines of your relationship, that's okay. But yeah, I guess if you're wearing sweatpants to like a business meeting, maybe like check up on them, see if they're doing okay.
Yeah, it's like, are you okay? Like, do you need a nap?
Yeah.
Okay, number 2, ask for what you want. All right. I like how this is going because yes. So they say that we assume that our partner knows us so well that we don't need to ask for what we want, and expectations are set, and sometimes they're unmet, and it leaves us questioning our connection. And just they say to keep in mind that asking for what you want extends to everything from emotional to sexual wants.
Okay. I feel like that's a fair what is it called? Fair point to make.
Yeah.
Because unless I'm mistaken, people aren't mind readers.
Yes.
So like if you want something, you have to externalize it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, talk about it, communication.
Yeah.
But just because you want something doesn't mean your partner has to give it to you.
Facts.
That's the only thing I feel like that needs to be a little added point to this one. Ask for what you want. Make sure you're listening to your partner's wants as well.
Right.
Make sure it's not one-sided. And then if they don't want to do it, that's just that.
Yeah, I feel like this is a half measure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right. So next one is become an expert on your partner. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
Please elaborate.
Yeah, let's see what they're trying to say. So think about who your mate really is and what excites them, both physically and emotionally. We can be consumed by what we think they want, as opposed to tuning in and seeing what really resonates with the other person. So they say, remember, if it's important to your partner, it doesn't have to make sense to you. You just have to do it.
That's a conflicting message.
Very.
Just because you know something about your partner doesn't mean you have to do it. And also, like, this could easily be separated into 2 points. Get to know your partner.
Yes.
Could be one. I don't know about becoming an expert. That's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. Don't become like a fanatic of your partner and like knowing every little detail. I do think making sure that you take the time to learn about your partner and like progressively learn more as you are together.
Right.
But I do think trying to know them so well takes away from the relationship, because then you're assuming what they like and you're not leaving them some room to change that.
Yeah, and then that would be the one. The second part would be, you don't have to just do it. Like, okay, some things, this is talking about if you're already in a relationship, right? So some things, like if you didn't know your partner was this, or if your partner's like, oh shit, I feel like I like, you know, chocolate cake versus vanilla ice cream, and y'all bonded over vanilla ice cream. In that sense, yeah, you have to accept those things, but you never have to do anything you are uncomfortable with. You know what I mean? I feel like this could be cut into 2 parts. This is just weird and confusing.
Yeah. I think with this article, and I see a lot of things being commonly said, I just think there's more nuance, like with anything. But let's move on. That was a little weird.
Yeah, they just trying to make a quick top 13. You know,
I know. They're just like boom, boom, boom. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So number 4, don't ask how your day was or how was your day. Okay. Seems like a pretty normal question. I don't know why it's taboo, but let's see. So apparently the question's very standard and it's boring and it just yields like a basic response, like, fine, how was yours? And they say that it does nothing to improve your connection and that it actually damages your connection because you're not connecting on a frequent basis. You're just like, oh, how was your day? Fine, whatever.
Oh, kind of like a script.
Yeah, it's like,
okay.
And they suggest to ask things like, what made you smile today? What was the most challenging part of your day? And you'll be amazed by the answers you get. Okay, so I think how was your day is okay. Right. I do think you should ask your partner like how they're doing.
Generally, yeah.
I just think just have fun with it. You know, like be like, oh, it was pretty fine. Maybe give more detail. But I think the other questions that they're asking or telling you to say kind of seem like therapist questions.
Oh my God, yeah, that's true.
Like, oh, what was the most challenging part of your day? I mean, like, ask that if you want to, but it just seems a little like bit of interrogation.
That would be weird if like I came home and you're working. I'm like, hey, but what was the most challenging part of your day?
I would be like, I don't know. Like give me like 10 minutes to think about that. I don't know.
I feel like those things should come up in conversation. Don't ask how was your day is such a weird statement to make, because sometimes like, okay, I understand what they're saying, like don't make it a script, but sometimes, you know, that can add like normalcy to your life.
I say
just go deeper.
Just have fun with it. Yeah, give more detail. Yeah. And I just think that second one to me seems more robotic.
Facts, because those are just like those are out of the blue questions.
Yeah. I mean, like, do you? Are these weird to y'all? Like, let us know.
I don't know. I think they're weird. We're not even all the way through. All right, let's go. We got to get through these.
All right, number 5. Create a weekly ritual to check in with one another.
You know, sacrifice a couple goats, you know, burn some steaks. No, I'm kidding.
You know, just the usual relationship stuff. No, we're kidding. So they're just saying that, like, to check up on each other once a week, like kind of schedule it and kind of take the time to improve on things and to check on your schedules, planning date nights, talk about what you like to see happen in the coming days, weeks, and months. And they're saying that without this intentional appointment to do a temperature check, unmet needs and resentments can build.
I don't know how I feel about these because these tips are like they're going somewhere, and then I'm like, ah.
Yeah. So I do think you should check up with one another. So like for us, we do like a weekly schedule check-in. Like we're like, hey, what are you doing this week? And then I'm like, oh, this is what I'm doing this week. And we kind of plan something together.
Yeah, we sync our calendars or whatever you call it.
Yeah. I think that's fine, especially if you're both busy, but you're both like very involved in each other's life. Like if you're living together and in a relationship.
I mean, we're married.
I do think if you're not living together, this may be a little weird.
I didn't even think about that.
Because
that's a good
because we're
point.
thinking about like, oh, we live together.
Yeah.
But if you're just dating, I think just wait on this one.
Yeah.
Because it's like you don't need to know everything your partner is doing.
I feel like you can check in and be like, hey, what are you doing this week generally?
And see like when to hang out.
Yeah. That's a good point.
What was weird about it was doing a temperature check and unmet needs and resentment. Here's the thing. If you have needs, your partner isn't required to fulfill them. Like,
right.
And if you build resentment from that's on you. I'm just saying.
I mean, you're not wrong. Like, in a relationship, technically both people shouldn't rely on the other person to fulfill their needs. It's nice. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, if you can, go for it. But like, don't get all like, oh man, like they're not fulfilling my needs. Like, see how you can fulfill them. And also, we're going to talk about this a little bit later. Your romantic partner doesn't have to like do everything for you. Like, there's other like relationships in your life. There's friendships, there's familial. So, you're not going to get everything from one person.
Right. I think creating that expectation that one person can do everything for you is, I don't know. I feel like that's toxic.
Yeah.
To me.
A little bit. All right, so the next one, the next one is keep it sexy. Now, I hear this one a lot, especially like in the conversation of aging. They're like, hey, like, make sure you're always like keeping up your appearance and make sure you don't lose the spark or whatever. I hear that a lot. And so they say, do you find something sexy that your partner does? Or do you find something unsexy that they do, and talk about what that means to y'all? And to keep that up, I don't know. Here's my thing. I think requiring that constantly in your relationship is tiring. I feel like
it's a lot of work. Yeah,
it's a lot of work. It's like, your partner's still human. They're gonna just be like basic. Basic
and
human.
also like, why does it have to be about like sexiness or attractiveness? Like, I feel like attractiveness is important to some people, like not everybody, but also I feel like assigning the attractive value, I guess, assigning the attractive value to just, what you find attractive about your partner. Like, hey, can you keep doing this? It's one thing to say that, but like, sometimes they're not gonna want to do that.
I think like all the time it's like annoying. I do think this gives me very like first year relationship vibes where
they did say
it's very like heated and passionate, and that does die down naturally over time. And I feel like at that point, like have all your fun and stuff like that. But as you date longer, you're gonna really know like what your partner, I guess, can do for you, what you can do for them. And it's not going to be like a all the time thing, especially if you start like living with each other. You're going to see the normal side of them. Yeah.
And I do think, spicing things up is okay. I feel like that is an important element of things.
Always. Like if, like have fun,
Yeah, but you can't eat spicy food every single day.
Every single meal.
That's not good for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This article feels like a yes and situation, because they're not really saying anything new. You know what I mean? I was kind of expecting like things I'd never even heard of or considered, but these are pretty like they're just reinforcing shit that I've heard before. You know what I mean? Like we are kind of unique and quirky people. So like, we're like, oh yeah, maybe, but like, make it your own. But this is like, if somebody took every single aspect of this, they're like, oh my gosh, I found this awesome article. But like, you've been told, I don't know, I can't speak for everybody. I feel like I've been told this shit since I was like 10. They're like, oh, you're gonna find a partner and you need to do all these things, and this is how you have a good relationship. And like, all the people telling me these things ain't got good relationships. So like,
Facts.
so
And also this is like heavily portrayed in media as well,
oh yeah.
you know. So I did notice that some of the tips are for like communication, which I'm gonna skip those because honestly, we're just here to see what they think makes a good relationship, because clearly communication is important. So all right, so the other one that they say is get creative about the time you spend together. So break the whole dinner and a movie thing. Try to look for different date ideas, you know, stuff like that. And I think that's actually pretty good if you fall into like a monotonous, you know, routine. If you want to try something different, yeah, definitely try something different. Like, if you're gonna be in a relationship with someone, especially if it's like long term, you gotta get creative, yo.
And you know, work on it together. I feel like there's a lot of pressure for like one partner or the other partner to plan dates. Or like, if you're gonna go on a date, one person has to be the entire what
Like
is it,
planner.
like, yeah, work on it together, because if one person's doing all that, that person's gonna be stressed, first of all, and second of all, it'll be more fun if both of y'all work on it, because you know, you can bring more to the table. Two heads are better than one. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
and
mean?
then occasionally like one partner can take lead, because I know some people really like when a partner just says, hey, like, I'm taking you here, be ready
Right.
by this time, and they like that. I just think sometimes, you know, be mutual and see what y'all come up together.
Unless that's y'all's terms, I feel like, you know, that's different.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Those were kind of basic. Some we agreed with. None of these are like absolutely terrible. I just think you want to focus on a little bit more than just what they said. The link will be in the description for the rest of this article if you want to read it. But let's move on to number 2,
Okay.
which is unhealthy social norms for relationships. Okay, we're getting somewhere.
All right. All right.
All right. So the article starts off by saying everything down to our lives paths have expected routes. So we're supposed to leave home, go to college, get a job, and start a family. These pressures to conform stop being beneficial and become toxic. And that's why we all need to watch out for toxic social norms for our relationships.
Okay.
Okay, I agree with that. I do think there is this like cis heteronormative expectation of like, you're gonna be straight, you're gonna get married, you're gonna have 2 kids, this whole nuclear family,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're gonna go to college and you're gonna automatically get this career, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I feel like, and I may be saying some spicy stuff, but you know, a lot of times people are like, oh, what is all this LGBT? What is all this non-traditional living? What is
The
this?
gay
I don't
agenda.
want to. Yeah. Nah, bro. Like, y'all want to pretend like LGBT people are sexualizing children, but you have little t-shirts like, oh, I look just like my dad, or like, oh, how many girlfriends you have, or how many boyfriends you have, when kids are like 4. What the heck?
True, yeah. If I mean, as a non-straight person, honestly, my entire life, people have pressured like heterosexuality onto me and trying to have like little boyfriends when I was young and blah blah blah. It's
Or like
like,
setting you up. What? Like, you're
yeah,
13. What the heck?
exactly. So
I don't know about that.
that's all whack. Anyway, so the first thing they mention that's a apparently to them a toxic social norm, romantic norm, is physical affection. All right, so let's see what they mean about that. They say that the problem is expecting physical affection can be harmful to your relationship, and it's important to discuss with your partner the amount of physical contact you both enjoy. Otherwise, one might feel rejected or uncomfortable, stuff like that. So,
Right.
okay, at first I was like, wait. I mean, unless you don't like physical affection, that makes sense. But yeah, you should discuss, I guess, your limits, your boundaries with each other.
Yeah, I feel like that falls under general communication.
And consent. Yeah.
Yes.
What I would say is if something becomes uncomfortable. So let's say you're like, hey, I'm okay with any kind of physical affection. But then maybe you feel differently one day. Just let your partner know, hey, I'm not feeling that. And then,
Yeah.
you know, it's like a two-way street for the whole like consent discussion. But yeah, just talk about it.
Exactly.
I do think a lot of times with romance norms, it's just like, oh, let's be touchy all the time.
Yeah.
And some people may not like that.
In Japanese, there's a phrase for honesty or like honest, like doing something honestly. It's like shojiki, I think. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, you got to have these like shojiki conversations. Like don't pretend. And I know it can be very scary, but like trust me, if you are pretending you're okay with something, you're going to hurt the other person that you care about, or you're going to hurt yourself in the long term.
That's very true. And honestly, the earlier you can say how you want to be treated or what you like, the better, because then there's less guessing. I think with a lot of straight relationships, which is pushed in the media, these romance norms are often cis heteronormative. I think there's too much guessing game, so the sooner you can just tell each other, hey, this is what I like, the sooner y'all can just like have fun.
Yeah, and if you really like a person, you got to be willing to work on yourself and work with their boundaries. Straight up.
Yeah, for real. All right, so the next one is gender norms.
Ooh, let's go.
Yes, I think this is something that literally needs to be eradicated. Just the expectation of gender norms. I understand that some people feel comfortable in certain, gender norms, but I just feel like putting that onto the whole society is where the problem comes. So they go on to say that it's very common in relationships that we fall into traditional gender norms. And the expectation of one gender to always be ready to perform a certain way, and the expectation of another gender to do all the housework, whatever it is, it creates unfair pressure to either person in the relationship. Now, I do think this person is speaking from a there's only two genders point of view, and here in Abnormal, we don't follow that. Regardless of your gender, we should not have expectations of performance or who's doing what chore.
Yeah, I will maintain that I think the gender binary harms people more than it helps people. I want to say that because a lot of people will be like, oh, well, they're two genders, or this is it's so limiting. Like, bro, boys don't grow up learning how to cook. You know what I mean? Or they don't learn how to wash their ass properly or do the dishes. It's frustrating to me, especially like how I grew up. I was raised by a single mom. And because of that, like out of the necessity, I had to learn how to cook. I had to learn how to semi-wash dishes. And I did all my own laundry. When I was with her and like with the family, there was like expectation that, you have your own room, but I'm not cleaning that shit. And I'm like,
yeah, and these are just basic. Yeah, these are just basic human needs. Like, I think it's so weird that the norm is, oh, this gender does this type of thing and this gender does this, and like y'all are puzzle pieces. My advice is to customize your roles from the jump. So let's say you're about to move in with each other, right? Because I feel like this one is kind of speaking on like how you live
in relationships.
Yeah, within relationships, how you live with each other. This is something that me and Ashish do all the time, especially when we move to a new like location. It's like, hey, let's update our roles. Like, what do you want to do?
Right.
What do I want to do? What are we good at? And just customize it. You don't have to tell everybody, because I understand that there's like societal pressure, and if you're different, yeah, just in the safety of your own relationship, change it up, and it doesn't have to just be like opposites. Like, oh my god, I'm a girl, I'm gonna like, I don't know, what is a mask thing to do? Fix the light bulbs. Yeah.
I don't know.
And oh, I'm a boy and I'm gonna wash dishes. Like, it doesn't have to be like the opposite necessarily. Because I do know like sometimes people like to do what's normative of their gender, and if that resonates with you, go for it. But that doesn't mean you have to like do all of the things associated with your gender.
Right. And I feel like in a relationship, you should be able to help each other. Like, okay, say for example, we talk a lot about, okay, who's cooking dinner tonight? Those are still pretty open to adjustments, or like, you know, if we're like, hey, we're just too tired tonight, we're gonna do that tomorrow. Like, it's very like fluid.
It's not set in stone.
Yeah, and that's okay. That works for us. But if some people are like, no, I'm going to do this, and then you're going to do this, again, you can't expect your partner to do something if they don't want to. But it's important to have those conversations, because like you said, customize it. Like, why you gotta like settle for being stuck with your gender norm? I mean, I'm not even trying to say like, oh, question your gender. Like, nah, like what you do in your gender. Like, it's okay. You don't gotta cook all the fucking time. Like, get your man to cook. Or like, girl, if you want to know how to fix the plumbing or something, like, learn, sit there, like, share information with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a relationship should make both people better, and like just sticking to one box is very limiting. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know.
If that is for you, like I said, you gotta really do some introspection and see, like, is this how I feel? Is this what I like? And as long as you're honest, you can probably find another person or other people, if you're poly, you know, to kind of make that happen for you.
Right.
And there's no shame. Just, I think it's very personal. I think that's the biggest point I'm trying to hit, is that no matter what you like to do, whether that's normative or not, if that's what makes you happy and comfortable, it's just for you. Just don't expect anybody else to follow that, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you like to do the basic stuff, do it, but don't come tell me how I should live my life.
Oh, facts. Like, even though I'm giving out all this, like, oh, don't do this, blah, 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 you ain't gotta listen to me. Just straight up.
Yeah. That's all. I think if we just give people space to really customize their relationships, a lot more people would be happy. I think. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that's some pretty deep shit.
Yes. And also, another recommendation, I guess, from our perspective is just update, you know, keep each other updated, communicate as you grow together, and it's okay to change things up, because life isn't the same, and it's very hard to like maintain one type of way for your entire life together, because some people do end up staying with their partners for their entire life.
Right.
Yes. Okay, so the last point of this article that we'll cover, there's other ones in the article, so if you want to read that, as always, link is in the description.
Yeah.
So this one is saying that everything is fine. So there's a lot of pressure to them to put on a good face, and they feel like that they need to say that everything is fine all the time when it's not. And it's pretty unhealthy social norm, because it ignores the issues. And they mention how mind reading isn't possible no matter how connected you are to somebody, and to not expect it. And they mention that, you know, apparently we all want someone who can look at us and just know exactly how we're feeling, but that's not the case.
I think to a certain degree that is possible within a relationship, especially if you spend the time, you know, connecting with your partner or partners, and like you get to know them on a like very intimate level. You can anticipate and you can assume accurately, but I don't think it's possible to look at somebody and be like, you need some water. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like that. And the what is it, the little gif of the dog in the cafe and everything's on fire, and they're like, oh, this is fine. Like,
oh yeah,
that's what this reminds me of. You know what I mean? Like, it's not fine.
All right, so Article 3, are you ready? The last one?
Kind of, but let's go.
All right. So this one is called 5 Ways Amatonormativity Sets Harmful Relationship Norms for Us All.
All right, strong title.
Some of y'all may have been like, wait, what did she say earlier? Because like when I first read this, I was like, wait, I've never heard this before.
Yeah, so enlighten me. What is this word?
Okay, so amatonormativity is coined by Elizabeth Brake. It's like she's a professor at ASU, and she coined this term apparently, and it's the belief that marriage and companionate romantic love have special value And this leads to overlooking the value of other caring relationships. And that this consists in the assumptions that a central, exclusive, amorous relationship, so like romantic relationship,
Right.
is normal for humans. And that it is a universally shared goal. And that such a relationship is normative and it should be aimed at. And it's above other relationship types. So let me kind of break that down a little bit more.
Yes, please.
So normalizing the pressure to desire to find romantic, sexual, monogamous, lifelong relationships has consequences, and those people who are asexual, aromantic, and or non-monogamous become social oddities, is what she's saying.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And that it puts a stigma on single people as incomplete, and it reinforces romantic partners to stay in unhealthy relationships because of the fear that the partners may have of being single. So there's like this fear of being single, and then it makes single people seem incomplete.
Who is this lady? What's her name?
Elizabeth Brake.
All right, Ms. Brake, you spitting facts right now. This is all very heavy. People talking about this, especially in like academic situations, I guess, gives it more weight to people. But no, this is all like literally everything we've been talking about up until this point.
Yeah. And I feel like it's just like the term.
Yeah.
And it helps it because I feel like a lot of people have been talking about this for ever.
Yeah.
So basically, it's the assumption that all humans pursue love or romance, especially in the means of monogamy. So think of it as like romance normalism.
Yeah.
So essentially romance norms like we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So this article starts off with a quote from Elton from Doctor Who.
Ooh, Doctor Who.
In the episode of Love and Monsters. I haven't watched Doctor Who in so long.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
The quote goes, when you're a kid, they tell you it's all grow up, get a job, get married, get a house, have a kid, and that's it. But the truth is the world is so much stranger than that, and it's so much darker and so much madder and so much better.
I'm going to let that sit for a minute. God damn, that's so true.
It's so true. Because you can do all those things. But the world is so much grander than that. Like there's so much more that you can do. There's so many different opportunities. It's so much more. There's so much more to it. It's not just those simple things. Because even if you do those things, you can talk to people who have done it all. They've done the relationship guidebook. And there's still a lot of things that they're unhappy with, you know?
Yeah, and I want to add a side note to this. It's also important to note who, and I don't remember who said this. I'm pretty sure it was a Black femme person. When they said, whenever you feel bad about something, who profits off of it? I wish I could credit the person because that is such a like deep introspective thought. You know what I mean? And like, it's also important to remember who made these rules. And why are they trying to put it onto you? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you don't feel a certain type of way, you're not the crazy one.
Yes, but it's okay to feel those negative feelings.
Exactly.
Because it does take time to like sit with that and also see how you can walk in the world differently.
Yeah.
You know, because it's one thing to like realize, you know, I feel different, but how can I walk safely with this?
Exactly. And again, if you fall into the normative stuff, we're not trying to dog on you. You're good. Like you happen to align with that. But for a lot of people who feel like, you know, I gotta find a partner and get married, like that's a lot of pressure, especially as you get older. Like, come on. Yes. We all know.
So the article goes, number 1 is amatonormativity creates arbitrary relationship hierarchy. All right. So we're just going to like react to some of the points in there.
Okay.
Instantly, it excludes those who simply prefer sexual relationships, and it makes them deviants of everyone who values their friends, family, and selves more than romantic possibilities. So if you have different kinds of relationships with your family, your friends, yourself, maybe you just like sexual relationships, it excludes people who like that because usually people just seek romance. They're like, no. Romance is the only relationship you should seek.
So I see what they mean about hierarchy. It's like you can have all these other relationships, but really you want this one.
Yeah. And that what this concept does, this romantic norm, is that it expects you to grow out of things like intimate friendships. And it's expected that one day that you'll get married and that's all you'll focus on. And like it'll just be you and your romantic partner. And that it's perfectly acceptable to place a romantic partner above all other relationships in your life for no other reason than that you have romantic feelings for them, and that it's the norm to rearrange your entire life, make all of your plans according to this type of relationship. And yeah, I think this speaks a lot of truth, because you see this being pushed not only from like media, but also what's passed down in family. It's like, hey, you're gonna get married and that's what's gonna be important.
Yeah, and I will say, like, as a married person, it's true to a certain extent, because there's a reason you have chosen to bind yourself with this person, with your partner, right? That being said, you can't rely on one person to fulfill all of your needs.
But that's what's being pushed. So
Yeah,
I would say I would agree with this one. I do think it's case by case, but it is more common than
Right.
not. So yeah.
And that being said, like, we prioritize each other because that's, the nature of our relationship. That doesn't mean we don't have other friends or like, relationships with family or stuff like that. Or
Yeah, like I think
mean?
if a partner is telling you, hey, you need to like be away from your family, don't have these friends, I think that's a sign, like a red flag for sure.
Get out.
Yeah. All right. So number 2, Amatonormativity discourages communication and compatibility. So it goes on to say that romance is depicted as competitive, exclusive, jealous, restrictive, controlling, ownership, all-consuming, and normal.
Facts. No
Goddamn.
lies. No
Yes.
lies.
No lies. No lies. I do think it is what it's often depicted. That doesn't mean that that is what it is for you, but you can't tell me that's not what we see being depicted.
Yeah.
All right. So they also go on to say that truth is plenty of us, aromantics or not, want content tailored to a wider possibility and where adult friendship is valued. Lovers don't always get married and have kids, where intimacy, sex, and sensuality isn't just about romance. It's not like connected. And I think that's a good point. We often see that relationships are one type of way.
Yeah.
Also, I've seen a lot of people talk about how they don't want to have kids, they don't want to get married, and that's completely okay too.
Yeah, don't give in to that pressure. I know, those of you listening, there's pressure, and I feel it.
There's pressure, especially like being married and not having kids. There's so much pressure, and this is like a side point, and I feel like this episode's gonna be really long. But I feel like you don't always know what people are going through and why they don't want to have kids, why they don't want to get married. And I think just saying, oh, why aren't you married yet? Or why don't you have kids? It's like, that's not about you. That's so invasive. And those questions don't need to be asked.
It places value judgments on the people you're asking it to. And that's not fair.
And some people just aren't ready. So are we saying that, oh, get over it, you'll figure it out? Because then that literally affects new life being born.
Yeah, and clearly that shit isn't the healthiest. Like,
no.
If we're being honest, don't do things just because you feel like you have to, because then you end up like trapped, essentially.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be trapped with a kid. Like, that's not fair to that kid.
That's not fair. Don't exactly. Some people feel called to be parents, like birth parents, and some people feel called to be like adoptive parents, or they feel like maybe teachers. You can still influence children in that way. There's so many different ways to be a guardian, and you don't have to birth a child for that to be
hella
the case.
Godparents. You can just like be a godparent to. You can literally be a godfather and just have like a little gang of godchildren. Like, you know what I mean? There's so many ways. Anyway, we're going on a tangent. I'm sorry, I keep distracting. What's the next point?
No, that's okay. So number 3 is amatonormativity also makes non-monogamy more difficult. We kind of mentioned that before. Yeah. And so it goes on to say that the information for non-monogamous populations is still heavily couple-centric. hetero, cisnormative, ableist, and virtually completely romantic orientated.
It's a very simple point, but it says a lot. And when they mention ableist, like, yeah, that's true, because if you think about differently able people, like, you know, people who may need help walking or with insulin, you know, even mental health issues like depression, a lot of times they're like, oh, well, find you a partner that can help you. It's like, nah. Like, super side note, the show The Witcher with Yennefer, they did her wrong. They took her character as a differently abled person, and like they essentially did magic plastic surgery, and they're like, oh yeah, your life's better, but it's not. But they made it seem like that was the consequence of her actions, whereas they literally forced that whole like societal beauty standards onto her.
Like,
that was fucked up.
It was like the only way she was able to find true love,
or
was
even her magic power or whatever.
Yeah, was to change her whole body. That was a very toxic concept. Still love The Witcher, like in other concepts of the show, but that part, I was like, that's not it.
Yeah, I can't get past that one. That was...
Yeah, that was like, I couldn't get down with it. All right, so next point, amatonormativity leaves aromantics, asexual people, and others more vulnerable. It goes on to say that romantic dating culture revolves around not being blunt, open, or upfront, and that the vanilla dating scene, so like the non-kink dating scene, is actually dangerous, and that it only worsens when your identity is non-normative.
And especially if you consider, let's say, hypothetically speaking, there's a partner and they're in a relationship and they're like, oh, well, you know, I'm not straight. Like, a lot of times romantic situations can, I guess, lead that to being either mocked or taken advantage of.
Yeah.
And yeah, like a lot of times romance is, I hate to say this, but romance is like, it's not really it for a lot of people, because everybody finds different things sexy. But like romance a lot of times pushes like, all right, you gotta be cis, you gotta get the 6-pack if you're a man, and you gotta have like certain type of features or whatever. Like the show You, that dude is like a romantic. Like, let's be honest, he's a diehard romantic, but he's also a creep. And like
True.
a legit murderer. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, let's not forget that.
I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah.
So I do think what they mentioned earlier about the romantic dating revolves about not being blunt. Yes, like dishonesty is so commonplace. And it's like, oh, it's okay, it's whatever. And that's actually more dangerous. You want to communicate. Like we said, communication. And let's not separate ourselves from different romantic styles and sexuality styles and orientations, because it's not a me versus them. I think the more we sit together and talk about these things as a group, we can learn from each other. And then maybe some people might actually resonate with that and be like, you know what, that's what I didn't know, and that's what makes sense for me.
Yeah, a lot of times romance feels like you have to conquer your your lovers' hearts and minds or whatever. You know, sometimes people don't want to have their hearts and minds conquered, and that's totally fine.
Yes. So before we go into the last part of this article, I am going to give a content warning. It does mention intimate partner violence, so skip to the next time code if you need to. All right, so number 5 is that it leaves part of abuse culture intact. So it goes on to say that intimate partner violence, or IPV, is so common, that it's an everyday reality that so many people live with, and it happens so often that pretty much everyone else has either been in a relationship with an abusive partner or knows someone who has.
Yeah.
And amatonormativity pressures people to sacrifice and to place the relationship above the consent of the people involved, and to treat love as a limited resource rather than an experience. Because this romantic norm says that if they love you, they can't hurt you. If you love them, you can't leave. And all you need is love, because you can't give up on your soulmate. And that these behaviors and dynamics that would be considered abusive and inappropriate, they're so overlooked in romantic culture. So yeah, I think that's the heavy truth about it all, is that regardless if this is for you, whether you see happy people in romantic normative relationships is that we can't ignore essentially the elephant in the room, is that if we're just seeking this soulmate and we're just seeking the hierarchy of a romantic partner, that when things get bad, it gets ignored.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. It's not my story to tell, so I won't go into details. But like, when I was younger, I was involved in like a couple of abusive situations. Some of the things that you were saying, like, you know, if they love you, they can't hurt you. If you love them, you can't leave. Like, these are things that people would actively tell me or like my family members. And like, it's very twisted because at that point, they don't care about what's actually going on. They're saying, oh, wait, but no, this relationship, like you were saying in the article, is more important than the people involved in it. Like man, I don't even want to get into it because I hate Plato, but like Plato's stupid forms or whatever, his like ideals that like, oh, there exists a perfect version of everything. Nah, bro, that shit isn't real. Like, there doesn't exist a perfect version of a relationship. And if there is, it's certainly not like the stupid cis hetero romantic blah, 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 blah. Straight up. Like, a lot of times the abuse part of relationships gets swept under the rug, or people know it but they won't do anything for the people involved.
True. And it also becomes normalized. Like, it becomes part of the whole manipulation, and it's like, oh, well, this means love. And some people get twisted viewpoints of what love is. So yeah, I think overall, being in relationships take practice. You don't have to deal with bullshit. You don't have to be normative. And if you are normative, that's all good for you. Just don't pressure other people. And your worth is not reliant on how much someone loves you or what they buy you. Because I know in Valentine's, people are like, oh, they didn't buy me like the super expensive chocolates, or they didn't buy me a diamond ring. Or I know these are like very basic, but like for real, some people think that they're not worthy because they weren't bought that.
No, straight up. I've seen like threads on Twitter where it's like, girls, how much is this diamond worth? And I'm like, oh, wow. We're still doing that.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Like, what?
And if you want to know some common red flags and toxic behaviors to avoid, check out our episode on that. I believe it's our second episode ever.
Dang, we went straight into it.
Yeah, I know. We were like real serious. And I also made a blog post, so just go to abnormaljapan.com. Yes. And it is the blog about 10 common red flags.
All right.
And any other notes you want to mention?
Yeah, love yourself first. Always love yourself. You know, you can't really be there for another person if you're not there for yourself, because then you're expecting them to be there for you. Like, I don't know, put on your own oxygen mask first. Straight up.
All right, so let's get into the closer convo and see what Valentine food trends are out this year in Japan, because I think it's pretty funny.
Let's go.
All right, so something special in Japan is the attention to detail for seasonal and holiday food and drink. And you can always find something unique to experience or take back if you're visiting. Yep. That being said, I did notice a lot of weird Valentine products coming out this year that I'm not used to seeing back in the States. So normally we see like the typical chocolate candy variations, the roses and all that stuff. But of course, Japan goes all out as usual.
What is it? God is in the details type of shit.
Yeah. So one of the first things I noticed that is coming out this year is a chocolate ramen.
Ooh,
so
I'm looking at it right now.
Serves up chocolate and white chocolate ramen for Valentine's Day.
Oh, it's cheap.
Yeah, it's only 640 yen, so like $6-7.
Yeah.
They have a dark chocolate version and a white chocolate version, and the broth is the chocolate flavor, which it's kind of weird to me. And I think there's like a chocolate stick in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've been selling it since January 30th, and it's gonna go all the way until March 11th.
Oh, so we can still try this.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I got a question for you. which one would you try?
I think I would try the chocolate, like the dark chocolate one.
Okay.
Just because it looks cool, but I think the white chocolate might taste better.
Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think white chocolate is actual chocolate.
Well,
This
it's
is my
not.
spicy take.
It's not. It's just like sugar, right?
But I would try the dark chocolate one.
Yeah. It looks really interesting. Y'all should look it up on Google. Just look up like chocolate
we got
ramen.
links in the thing too.
Yeah. I mean, I could link all of these. I don't know if I will, y'all. Honestly, this is a lot of different food stuff.
Just one.
But yeah.
Yeah.
The ramen's interesting. I think I might try it. I've seen some reactions. People say it's surprisingly good.
If there's one near us, we should definitely check it out because I would try this.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe we can split a bowl.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't know. That's kind of weird. That like breaks its tradition. Like how you don't share a burger, you don't share a ramen bowl.
People don't share burgers?
Well, I mean, you
am
can.
I the weird one?
You can, but it's just I feel like it's a personal meal. You know.
All right, I'll be the weird one. All right, so next up we have. Even if you're not in Japan, you know what the snack is. Pocky. It's lovely. It's pretzels. It's chocolates. It's flavors. All this kind of stuff going on. Now, Pocky is doing this thing. They always do this thing. They got like different boxes and whatever. But now they have this QR code and this app where you can get an anime boyfriend.
What?
Yeah. So if you look at the picture right here, there's like heart-shaped Pockies. That's actually really...
I got that last year. The little heart shape.
You did.
Yeah.
They're one of the best snacks. I don't care what you got to say. They're not overrated at all. There are better versions, but Pocky does branding really well because they have 5 different anime boyfriends that you can get.
Oh, that's cute.
So there's a glasses guy, a pink-haired cutie pie, a red-haired basic boy, a leather jacket bad boy, and a idol-looking dude with a bucket hat.
Always. They always get a bad boy.
Always. But that one's the chocolate almond one. So unfortunately, that would be my anime boyfriend.
That one's good.
I didn't choose.
I think I'd go with the strawberry.
Oh, so you get the cutie pie. Anyway, the campaign is called Koibito wa Pocky. So Pocky is your lover. Basically, you get an app, you get a QR code, and you scan the Pocky thing. And essentially, they hired voice actors to do like lines of dialogue and stuff like that.
What?
So it's kind of like Pokemon Go. You can do a little AR, so augmented reality video,
That's
or watch
weird.
your lover, and they'll say compliments to you, or like, you know, say, oh my gosh, I love you. But like, yeah, anime boyfriend from Pocky.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know if I'll do that one, but I think I can see why that would be a hit.
I say we just get the Pocky.
Yeah. There's another chocolate Valentine's ramen, but this one's pink chocolate. So this bowl looks a little weird in my opinion. So it's like a chicken soup.
I'm looking at it. It does not look
And then
appetizing.
it has like a pink chocolate paste and a strawberry on top and like a pink chocolate bar and then like a whole egg. It just doesn't look appetizing. So I guess if you want pink white chocolate ramen. But this place, I think it's called Keep Poshi, and it's a popular ramen restaurant in Tokyo, and they're known for their blue ramen. So, and it's in Shibuya. I guess check it out if you want to. They're only going to have it until February 14th. So,
yeah.
And it costs 1,000 yen. So it's like $10. I don't know about that.
This one's kind of ugly. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't eat this one.
Yeah. All right. So this one is chocolate tofu.
Ooh.
So I guess if you're bored of like chocolate candies and your partner really loves tofu, you can give them chocolate flavored tofu. And it also comes in beet flavored, like it's a pink tofu.
What? My question is, now if I put this on the skillet with some oil, can I fry up a chocolate tofu?
I mean, I guess you can. They're eating it like just raw.
Oh, like silken style?
Yeah, like silken style. But I guess you could try to grill it. It'll, I don't know. It's kind of advertised with roasted walnuts and raisins and stuff.
Oh, okay. That's one way of celebrating. Oh, wait, no, I know what it is. What if you're lactose intolerant? Chocolate tofu.
Unless the chocolate tofu has milk.
Oh my God. You know what? Knowing Japan, it would have milk.
Yeah. And this one is going to be sold at the Cafe Colgian, and it's February 8th to 14th.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
by the time this episode comes out, you have 2 days.
Yeah. Get on it. Let's go. I want to see some reactions.
All right. So this one is Starbucks Valentine's beverages and goods.
Ooh.
So of course Starbucks always has something new for this season.
Always come with it.
This year they have chocolate with almond praline frappuccino. Okay. So this one comes with candied almonds and chocolate sauce and has coffee and caramel sauce. So
Oh, wow.
all the stuff.
Nutty, caramely, chocolatey. That sounds good.
Yeah. And then they have a chocolate with passion fruit frappuccino. So this one's like a green yellow frappuccino with chocolate. That's a little weird for me.
Nope, not for me.
So yeah, it's just what it is. Passion fruit and chocolate chips. I feel like that one's interesting, like for novelty to try it, but
That one's for the gram.
that one's really exactly. The next one is white chocolate with cafe latte. So white mocha. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like a white mocha, y'all. All right. I guess with maybe extra white chocolate on top because that's what it looks like.
Yeah. They were saying also you can get chocolate mousse topping if you just get a black coffee.
Yes. I think that's kind of cool if you're just like a coffee person.
Yeah.
Just get a little chocolate mousse on top. Because the frappuccinos, there's so much, y'all.
This
like,
one
it's
is
so
not
sugary.
speaking to me, no.
Yeah. And then they have like a lot of Valentine bottles and tumblers and whatnot. But
That's true.
yeah, I think if I were to choose, it would be the chocolate almond praline and like the chocolate mousse coffee.
Same. I would probably do chocolate mousse coffee. But I'm looking at these goods and honestly, you're a pink girl. Like is this like speaking to your heart?
No, I love it when sakura season hits. Personally.
Oh no, you're right. That's the next pink season.
Yes. So this one they're gonna have these drinks until I think February 14th.
All right, y'all. Seasons change
All
quick in
right.
Japan.
They started this in January 17th, so they were early-ish.
That's something I've noticed. In Japan, things start early and like the next day it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah. So, but let's say you missed it, right? They're also gonna be releasing their sakura drinks, which I tune in this time during Starbucks. As soon as February 15th hits, it's sakura time.
Oh yeah.
It's like,
Oh,
okay, yeah, that's it. So they're going to be releasing a strawberry milk pudding frappuccino and sakura milk latte. So this one, it's going to have the cherry leaf extract, the sakura strawberry sauce, pudding pieces, and it's going to be topped with like pink roasted rice pieces. So
Honestly, I'm looking at the picture. I would try that.
yeah, it's adorable. I feel like it's just gonna be sugar and milk, not gonna lie, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
it's cute.
Also, those goods. I wanted to look at the Sakura season goods because the Valentine's ones, not up to par. They're just pink, but man.
Yeah, they're gonna have probably some good desserts and stuff like that. And this one's gonna be from February 15th until the 25th for the frappuccino.
Oh, okay.
So because I think it's because of the milk pudding. So this is like short time period.
Yeah.
You know, it's like get it quick. So all right, so on to some, I guess, not safe for work like candies. I mean, it's not that bad. So Tenga, which is like a self-pleasure sex toy company. They're releasing chocolates that are shaped like their toys. And yeah, you can get chocolate, you can get strawberry, matcha.
No, I'm sorry, y'all. I don't like matcha. I'm gonna do chocolate strawberry. Look.
It's cute. I don't know. I guess if you and your partner or partners like this kind of toy, it'd be like, hey, I got you chocolate from it. That's actually kind of cute. It's different.
I will say I don't know what Tenga is. Like I have a peripheral awareness of it, but that's actually really cool. Like you open the box, I'm assuming that's like the regular packaging, and you get little chocolates that come out. Like
it's like Japan's version of Fleshlight.
Basically.
Yeah. It's that kind of toy, yeah. So the last one that I saw is chocolate beer, which I'm pretty sure it's not just for Japan. I've seen chocolate kind of alcohol everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But in Japan, there's going to be 4 different chocolate stout beers, which stout beers are really good.
Yeah, stout is where it's
dark
at.
beer. So they're going to have Imperial Chocolate Stout, which is 9% alcohol. And it's like chocolate flavored. They're going to have a double mint chocolate stout. All right, 7%. Okay.
That's me right there.
I think that'll be interesting. They have an orange chocolate. Okay. And a sweet vanilla.
Man,
I
get
think
that shit out of here.
No. I think I'll take the sweet vanilla. As long as it still tastes like chocolate. You know, but
it's, I don't know. Where can we get these? We should try these.
It's going to be at just department stores.
Okay, cool.
So I guess go to a mall, and also a specific brewery will have it. So, but yeah, I think that's really interesting. Which one to you, Ashish, is the wildest one?
The sex toy one.
Really? I mean, that's just basic chocolate.
Well,
you know?
no, because like I don't know that many sex toy brands, but like I've heard a lot about Tenga. So like clearly their marketing team is like, y'all may not use us, but you don't know about us.
Yeah.
So like to me, that's the most interesting one. So my top 3 would be like the Tango one, the AR one, the Pocky thing, and then it's a tie between chocolate ramen and Sakura strawberry thingy.
Okay. I think the most interesting is the chocolate ramen.
Yeah.
I think like what I would have never thought of that. But I don't know. None of these are really calling me personally, but
Right.
you know, because I used to try a lot of seasonal stuff. Like if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know that was like my first year here. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But now I'm just like, that's too much to keep up with. So yeah. Anyways, those are pretty cool. Go ahead and share with us some of your Valentine food trends in your country if you have any. And yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. Let us know how Valentine's is celebrated in your country, how you celebrate love, and which romantic norm did you find the most toxic, or which did you see that were actually fun and healthy? Comment below on our episode 28 Instagram post, or in the YouTube comments if you're listening there, at Abnormal Japan. And if any of these romance article topics interested you, check the links in the description to read about that further.
Yeah.
And for the food articles, if you want the link, just comment. I feel like there's so many links. I don't want to like bombard the description. Just let us know which one you want to see, and we can send it to you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Also, on that note, if a Discord chat will be easier for conversation and, you know, chatting with us, and we can send like the links and stuff like that, let us know. If you want a Discord chat, drop a comment under the post again, or in the comment section, and we can start one up if, you know, a bunch of y'all want to talk to us or get involved in the conversation. Also, if you want to hit us up, follow us on the socials to get notified next time we put out a new episode or any other content. Instagram is where you go to know what's up.
With us, yes, for real. All right, we appreciate everyone who tuned in.
Yes.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all.